of anti-inflammatory effect of fixed oil of Ocimum basilicum. Fixed oil of Ocimum basilicum was found to possess a significant anti-inflammatory activity against carrageenan and different other mediators induced paw edema in rats. Significant inhibitory effect was also observed in castor oil-induced diarrhea in rats. It also inhibited the arachidonic acid and the leukotriene-induced paw edema. The result of the anti-inflammatory activity of Ocimum basilicum supports the dual inhibition of the arachidonate metabolism as indicated by its activity in inflammatory models that are insensitive to the selective cyclooxygenase inhibitors. On the basis of these findings, it is possible to conclude that Ocimum basilicum may be useful anti-inflammatory agent which block the cyclooxygenase and the lipooxygenase pathway of the arachidonic acid metabolism. Essential oils are complex aromatic substances derived from plants that are mainly composed of terpenes and other compounds, namely aldehydes, fatty acid, phenols, ketones, ester, alcohols, nitrogen, and sulfur compounds. Sources of volatile oil. They are derived from plant tissues, thus may be produced naturally by extraction, particularly by distillation, often using by steam. They may also be made synthetically. Essential oils are also called as the volatile odoriferous oil, are aromatically oily liquid extracted from different parts of the plants, for example, leaves, peels, barks, flowers, buds, seeds, and so on. They can be extracted from plant materials by several methods: steam distillation, expression, and so on. Among all methods, for example, steam distillation method has been widely used especially for commercial production. Synthetic oils are primarily made of 95% of the chemicals that can be typically found in mineral oil and petroleum jelly, are both byproducts of the petroleum product. Manufacturers of synthetic fragrances must add many toxic chemicals to make their fragrances spread and dissipate into the air. Many of these chemicals, including benzene derivatives, aldehydes, and many known other toxins, can pose serious and negative health effects. Therapeutically, volatile oils have many uses. Used topically, volatile oils tend to stimulate tissues they come in contact, hence acting as rubefacients, counterirritants, and vasodilators. Internally, volatile oils can be divided into two major subcategories in terms of their effects: the stimulant and the nervine herbs. Antimicrobial activity of essential oil has been explored in many vitro assays, which show that thymol, eugenol, and carvacrol have high antimicrobial activity against pathogenic bacteria. One well-known mechanism of antibacterial activity is linked to their hydrophobicity. Toxic effect of volatile oil. Many essential oils such as eucalyptus oil, tea tree oil, cinnamon, citrus, peppermint, pine, wintergreen, and lang-lang are straight-up toxic to pets. These are toxic whether they are applied to the skin, used in diffuser, or leak up in case of a spill. Here are some examples of the volatile oils that are toxic to dogs and cats.
Resins being a natural product and secondary metabolites which have therapeutic action to humans and which can be refined to produce drugs. Because of the wide use of resins, they are collected by artificial injury to the plants, though they secreted by the plant as a defense mechanism against insects, to protect the plants and to heal the wounds.
Plant resins have been used by humans for 1,000 years. The ancient Chinese, Japanese, and Egyptians. The resin known as frankincense or myrrh, which were highly valued in ancient Egypt. These were highly prized substances that were used as incense in certain religious rites. What is resins? Resins is any natural or synthetic organic compound consisting of non-crystalline and amorphous or viscous liquid substance found as exudation from the trunk of various trees. Resins formation occurs as result of injury to the bark from the wind, fire, lighting, or other cause. They are produced in plant in special resin cells known as schistogenous cells at the site of plant injury and ooze out through the bark. In addition, the solid form of resin is called rosin. This cause of hardening of resin due to the exposure to the air. As for the structural characteristic of resins, resins contain a high concentration of carbon atoms. It is also a non-nitrogenous compound, insoluble in most polar and non-polar solvent like water and petroleum ether, but dissolved completely in alcohol, solvent ether, benzene, or chloroform. Resin is complex mixture of resin acid, resin alcohol, resin esters, and inert compound known as phenol, chemically resinous. These are also mixture of oxygenated products of terpene and carboxylic acid. For the source of resins, they are obtained from nature and indeed the majority of them are derived from plants. Particularly the pines and the fern trees emit the natural resins. It can be isolated by the entire plant, a specific part of plant, or exuded by the plant as a result of injury or incision. When the bark is damaged, the resin is formed. Natural resin can be obtained or extracted in various species of pine trees or coniferous trees from the genus Pinus. Also in family Anacardiae, where members of the family have resin ducts in the bark and characteristically produce resins. The pharmacological action of resin. It is act as a local irritant, thus as a local cathartic, as well as having anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, and immunostimulatory properties. Also, it is used as expectorant, which lubricate the airways, help loosen up the mucus, and make the secretion in airways thinner and easier to cough and effectively clear the throat, as well as it possesses anti-tumor or anti-neoplastic property and may use as a treatment of cancer. Here are some substances that are composed of resins. We have the conolophony, which is a rosin that has a stimulant and diuretic action, as well as used in preparation of zinc oxide plaster, ointments, and other adhesive plaster. We have lac, which contains of 70 to 80% of resin. It is extensively used for coating tablets and confections.
Alluracins is a naturally occurring homogeneous mixture of oil and resins that are extracted from the plants. They are a highly concentrated substance where it possesses an essence due to the oils.
Alluracins are spices and herbs which essentially include active compounds and oils in its purest form. These alluracins in liquid forms are very useful for different industries such as food, ingredients, and in pharmaceuticals. As what I have mentioned earlier, alluracin is obtained or extracted from plants. Here are some examples of natural alluracin that are derived from plant, spices, and herb. We have the fenugreek alluracin, ginger alluracin, and the black pepper alluracins. The pharmacological action of alluracins. The majority of alluracins are used as flavors and perfumes, while others are used medically. Spice alluracin is commonly used in pharmaceutical development for the development of health supplements. Alluracin are increasingly used in pharmaceutical application, owning its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, and it has its application as counter-irritant, antiseptic, and rubefacient. It is also used as remedy for sore throat and cough. These alluracins are mixed in different kinds of medical lotion and creams which are used for curing joint and muscle pain. The capsicum alluracin is an oily organic resin derived from the fruit of plants in the capsicum genus such as chili peppers. Due to its analgesic property, this alluracin is used to treat minor aches and pain of muscle and joints. Also, the capsicum Alluracin is contained in pepper spray.
Gums are carbohydrate biomolecules or colloidal polysaccharide that have the ability to bind water and produce gels because they dissolve readily. It is gelatinous when moist, but hardens when dried. The color of gum tears may range from white pale yellow or creamish brown to red. It is odorless and it has a bland taste with viscid or sticky texture. The tear shape are spheroidal or ovoid with 2.5 to 3 centimeters diameter. The tears are opaque because of the brittle fractures or fissures formed during the ripening process or because of the bacteria. It also has a shiny exposed surface. These gums are mostly obtained from the bark, stems, or branches of trees and shrubs belonging to the family Fabaceae or Leguminosae. Examples of trees that contain gums are Acacia senegal and Acacia arabica. The largest producer of gums is Sudan, but it can also be found in countries such as India, Arabia, Sri Lanka, Morocco, and Senegal. Gums are used as a dietary fiber source, and it is also used by people who are on a diet. It is also used in medical formulations, as a drug carrier, and to sustain drug release. These plant gums are used in the form of water solutions in the manufacture of cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and foods. It can be used as a binding agent in medicines, as an emulsifying agent, and most importantly, as an adhesive or as thickening agent. The following tables show other botanical sources of gums and its pharmaceutical applications.
Saponins are a class of secondary metabolites that are non-volatile surfactants found in both plants and marine animals. The word saponin comes from the Latin word sapo, which means soap, because when shaken with water, this group of natural compounds exhibits the same common characteristic of foaming. Unlike typical soaps, the produced foam is the product of the formation of a colloidal solution with a stable and long-lasting action of dilute mineral acids. Saponins have been found in more than 100 plant families as well as a few marine sources including starfish and sea cucumber. Triterpene saponins are present in many taxonomic plant groups such as roots of ginseng and seeds of glycine max to name a few. This slide shows the plant families wherein steroidal saponins are typically found. They also accumulate in abundance in crop plants. For the pharmacological action of saponins on central nervous system, ginseng saponins have anti-stress properties and effects on central neurotransmitters. Saponins from Aster batangensis exhibit sedative and analgesic properties that are contrary to amphetamine and synergistic to chlordiazepoxide effects. On cardiovascular system, saponins may have two separate types of actions. In terms of cardiac activity, saponins from Dianthus gypsophila was capable of producing a positive inotropic effect on cardiac muscle. In terms of blood clotting, several saponins inhibit platelet aggregation. The ethanolic extract of Symphytum officinale and the saponin hydrogenin elicited a systolic blood drop and a diastolic blood pressure. On endocrine system, tetraplurotetraptera inhibited the release of luteinizing hormone, and in terms of hormone synthesis, diosgenin can be converted into progesterone. In addition, saponins encompass a wide variety of pharmacological properties including hemolytic, mollucicidal, anti-hypercholesterolemic, anti-inflammatory, anti-allergic, cytotoxic, anti-tumor, antiviral, anti-diabetic, antimicrobial, and immunoadjuvant activity.
What is tannin? Tannin is a complex, organic, non-nitrogenous, and polyphenolic substances that has a higher molecular weight. Tannins' physical properties is that they have an amorphous material with a pale yellow to light brown-red color that is extensively dispersed in plants. They are also non-crystallizable chemical that dissolves in water to generate colloidal solutions with an acidic reaction and a harsh astringent flavor. They are also soluble in alkalis, alcohol, glycerol, and acetone, but not in other organic solvents. They are also precipitate the solutions of heavy metals, alkaloids, glycosides, and protein. In terms of medicinal properties, tannins has astringency properties and can precipitate the proteins. It also waterproofs the skin's and mucosa's outer layers and has a vasoconstrictor's effect. It also increases the tissue regeneration and has antidiarrheal and antiseptic properties. In terms of drug sources, tannins can be considered as a plant source, and there are four classifications of tannin material. There are wood tans, bark tans, fruit tans, and leaf tans. In the wood tans, we have the Acacia catechu and the Quebracho colorado. Its heartwood extract is high in tannins, that is why it is used in asthma, cough, bronchitis, colic, diarrhea, dysentery, boils, skin affections, sores, and for stomatitis. In the bark tans, we have the Terminalia arjuna and the Saraca indica. It's used as an astringent and it also acts as an antidote and diuretic. It also helps in the uterine infections, dysentery, colic, ulcers, and many others. Next, we have the fruit tans. In the fruit tans, we have the Acacia nilotica and the Emblica officinalis. It helps improve immunity and liver functions, and it also accelerates the wound healing process. It also serves as an anti-inflammatory agent. Lastly, in the leaf tans, we have the Anogesus latifolia, the Carissa spinarum, and the Emblica officinalis. The pharmacological actions of the tannin is that they serve as an antioxidant, antimicrobial, anti-cancer, anti-nutritional, and it also has a cardioprotective properties and has a free radical scavenging activity.